The AFC West preview and bombs edition of the Bottom Line Bombs on the Sports Giving Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code BOMBS to claim your first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code BOMBS. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm's college football and NFL projections are now live. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgivingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgivingpodcast.com/RATHMN. And with that, start a second a bit early and we will do the show by me clicking buttons and you going to like it. Welcome to the Bottom Line Bombs. I am your host, Little Addy Daddy, the Deli Llama, Scumbagger Vance, the Bet Detective, the man in the box. Or just CJ Sullivan if you want to be a real jerk about it. I'm just kidding. I like piling up these fake nicknames because it burns up material, and all I'm trying to do is kill time. But we have a great show today. No need to kill time today because it's jam-packed. So much so that I'm actually have to rearrange some things and do some audibles here. It is the AFC West preview and bomb show, or the Kansas City Chief Invitational, if you will. So we have two guests for today. We have a Kansas City Chief insider, Mr. Brady Novak, Kansas City native, community activist, I would like to say. I said it because he was on episodes of Community. He was an actor on the show Community. And he's a little activist too, so he's an activist. Community. I'll see if he likes that nickname. Probably not, but that's not how nicknames work. You take them like them or not. And we also have a Denver Bronco segment at the end of the show with Eric Acosta, who is usually part of the C-Generates, but he has a different gig now where he can't watch live anymore. But he's been in the chat room any time. He's also huge Bronco fan, although he's not from Denver. You don't know how that ever happened. But he is a writer. We'll get into it. That's a great segment he did there. Yeah, that's that. Lots of things to talk about. So I'll talk about the Chargers. I'll give up bombs for the entire AFC West. Although I also have a Raider guy, but the show's too action packed. I'm gonna push the Raiders until next week because you know what? That's how the Raiders do it anyway. They don't like to play alone. They don't like to be part of the division. The Raiders like to do their own separate thing. So anyway, got a big show today. Before we get into the Kansas City Chiefs, let me talk about. I don't know. There's a couple things. See, that's the thing with these guest segments. I don't really have time to do things I want to talk about, like man in the box stuff. I wanted to talk about baseball card shops. I don't have time to tell you that. LA police chase. I could talk about that happened last night. All right, I'll talk about that. NFL preseason tonight. Eagles Patriots. I'll give that out too in a second before I get to the break. How about Matthew Judon trade? How about that? C-Generates. I gave out Matthew Judon Defensive Player of the Year because he's going to get traded. The possibility of him getting traded. He's still 200-1 at Circa. Bomb that. Now he's in Atlanta. Those sleeves do great. Anyway, here we are. Hope I didn't startle you by starting a little early, but because it's so packed, I started a little bit early. I know it said 1 o'clock. I was supposed to say all the things. Like we're in Eagle Rock. We're live. It's 1 o'clock Pacific. It doesn't matter because it's on the internet. It's timeless. It goes on. Anyway. But if you are just joining in now, this is why. And if you're listening on X or watching on X, hop on over to the YouTube. That way you can get into comments. You can interact. You can engage and enrage with me. But yeah, plenty to talk about. Anyway, so let me go. I did want to talk about this police chase last night. LA does police chases great. They have websites, they have links, like the news, they have local news, they have special departments just for police chases. And it's pretty compelling to watch. I mean, they have a 24-hour channel of just police chases. Last night was a motorcycle one. People were sending me links, like, let's watch this live. We were. It's great. It's great theme watching. So much so, it has to be. It should be an Olympic event when the Olympics are in LA in 2028. Police chase, because LA does police chases great. There's certain rules. This guy messed up, so he was on a motorcycle, which I'm like, all right, he's got a fighter's chance with a motorcycle. You know, you can weave in between traffic, but you got to go local. You can't take that to the highway. You don't have enough gas for that. You're on a crotch rocket, for crying out loud. I mean, that's just police chase 101. And I don't mean the highway 101. I mean, you know, class-wise 101. Not the 101 South. You don't take the 101. That's 101. 101 and class 102 is you don't get on the 101. Anyway, this guy took the highway, so it was fun. Like, a good police chase is great. You're shouting out directions to him. There's certain strategies. First, you're like, how's he ever going to get away? Then sometimes they do. They'll pull a technique where they'll go in a parking garage. You go in a parking garage and you spread out, and then you need help. You need buddies to help you out. That's for sure. You all wear the same jackets and you all go a different direction. But you have to go through local traffic because they have certain laws where they won't, you know. Sometimes if the cops obey the laws, and they won't go through a neighborhood firing away and, like, you know, Raising Arizona style. So you do have a chance that way. But this guy, so then there's usually a scuffle, you know, at the end. I like when they give up and he'll do maybe a little foot chase, and then there'll be a tackle, and then there's the cops jogging out of shape, and they're just pissed they had to chase. So they come, and they're the ones who drop the elbows. They're the ones who drop the little over the top stuff. Like, you made me do this, you know, like, all right, that's brutality, but it's also justified. I mean, come on, this asshole stopped traffic for the last hour and a half with his chase. So it was kind of disappointing. This guy ran out of gas. There was no spike trail. There was no T-bone technique. It was a motorcycle who just ran out of gas. He pulled over, put his hands up, and then they tackled him. They're not even tackled him. They kind of gently. The cops were even disappointed. Like, oh man, all right. I guess we just put him in cuffs, boys. There's nothing really to do. You know, there's plenty of cameras on him, but he just ran out of gas, huh? I think if you're in a motorcycle in a police chase, you should be allowed one free fill up, you know, one free pit stop. The cops also get the pit stop. They'll let you go in, but, you know, or at least go through a neighborhood. If he would have came by my place, I would have held out a tank of gas like you're giving a cup of water to, like, a marathon runner, you know, like, here you go. Come on. We're all rooting for you. What you do? Domestic abuse? Oh, I wish I didn't give you that gas. All right. That's not a good crime. But anyway, that being said, it was a little anticlimactic. But I think at the very least, LA Olympics, let's incorporate police chases as an event. It'll clear traffic up. We're already worried about traffic. They're saying they want to make it a carless Olympics. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. LA's been hilarious, but saying, yeah, we'll just do what Paris did. They wanted I read an article. Paris moved their homeless to the suburbs, and LA's like, yeah, we'll do that too. Okay, why doesn't LA just do that? Well, Paris had 800 homeless people. Los Angeles has 100,000. They have an entire city of homeless people. You can't just toss them out to Chino Hills. I love how they think they just pick them up too. Like, all right, get on the bus, fellas. Yeah, bring your sticks and stuff. Bring your fucking rag. Bring your grocery cart. That's fine. No, you can't just fucking move people around. Anyway, it'll be fun. It'll be a fun Olympics, and as they take away the bronze, that's another Olympic story, huh? That bronze medal with Jordan Childs, a U.S. gymnast. Kind of feel bad for her. That's a classic gymnastics story. She didn't win the bronze. The Romanian woman won the bronze. Girl, I should say girl, because that's how they talk about it. It's funny when they talk about gymnastics, like all the articles about this. Like, they let the adults be the adults. These kids, not kids. They are kids. They're 13 years old, but they're also, world-class Olympic athletes. Anyway, the Romanian, she came in 5th place. Jordan Childs, Romanian girls, was in 3rd place, and then the Olympic coach put an inquiry in there and said, actually, I think you misjudged the score. It's always a judging score thing. Her degree of difficulty. And they're like, oh, yep, you're right. We did. So, okay, now you get the bronze. We give you 100th of a 1,000th of a point. And then Romanians did an inquiry on the inquiry. It's like a lawsuit versus a lawsuit. Nah, you did it too late. You were 4 seconds late. And they're like, yeah, you're right. Sorry. Give us that bronze back. And also unlisten to that national anthem we just played for you. So now this is a horrible situation going back and forth. How about this, IOC? And I know you guys don't like doing things properly at all, but how about you give them both a bronze? Who gives a shit? It's a bronze. You don't have another bronze medal back there? Just give them both a fucking bronze so we can end this thing. Instead of doing videos of 4 seconds and instead of trying to make us understand you're judging. Yep, sorry. You have to give it back to us. We'll send you a self-addressed stamp envelope, but please mail it back. Just go down to your UPS and mail back. And can you mail that bronze medal to Romania, please? We're not really sure of the stampage on that. Oh boy. Anyway, I forgot. Oh, geez. That's what the Olympics do for me. Gets me going there. And I forgot to talk about the SGPN, like the Sports Gambling Podcast. We launched their 32 NFL team previews. They're giving out a $500 Circa Future for our listeners. That's fun. Plus the EPL return. So make sure to check out the Soccer Gambling Podcast and the Premier League Gambling Podcast for your footy fix. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and the SGPN app. Rex Ryan would get his footy fix. An old foot fetish joke. Anyway, like I said, all right, so today is the AFC West preview. I see my man Brady Novak is in the hopper. After this quick ad read, I'll give out a preseason bomb, and then we'll come back. We'll talk Kansas City Chiefs, which is pretty much the entire AFC West. It's the Kansas City Chief Invitational. But there is a preseason football game tonight, Patriots-Eagles. Line is 3-35. If you heard me on the main show when we did preseason picks with Sean and Ryan, I gave out Patriots -2.5. Why? Because I'm the Dalai Lama. I have good numbers. I give out the good numbers. Who ordered the prosciutto? Big Dom. Yeah, I like the Patriots tonight. The Eagles do not care about the preseason. They're not going to play anybody at all. Patriots, they got that Joe Milton. And that's what you look for in a preseason game. Some third-string quarterback who could never play during a regular season game, but they kill it in the preseason. And the Patriots got one in Joe Milton. So I like the Pats tonight at home. And also Gerard Mayo. Did you see that? The new coach who's taking over for Belichick? He said, because they did a joint practice. That's what they do. The Eagles and Patriots teams do joint practice all week. And there's been a lot of fights going on. That's what happens. And Gerard Mayo had made his punishment was, if anyone gets in a fight during a joint practice, if you're not a starter, you're not going to play at all during the game. If you get in a fight. But if you are a starter, you're going to play the whole game. How about that? Now that's punishment. Kind of like it. I think he's going to, they might win 2 games this year, but I like ridiculous things like that. Anyway, so I'll give that out. Preseason bomb, Patriots -2.5. I'll even say -3 for today's number. Although the Dalai Lama gave out a great 2.5. Anyway, all right, let me do a quick ad read. When we come back, we will have Kansas City Chief talk with the one and only community activist, Brady Novak. But first, let me tell you about, oh boy, Underdog Fantasy. There it is, Underdog Fantasy. You can go 8-0, 325 times your money. You can play fantasy football the right way with Best Ball Mania. It's live with $15 million in prizes. Underdog just launched a season-long college football projections, too. High or low for your favorite college football season. So sign up with promo code BOMBS to claim your special pick. First-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code BOMBS. And we're back here on the Bottom Line Bombs. I am the man in the box, EJ Sullivan, and we are talking AFC West today. And if we're talking AFC West, we're talking Kansas City Chiefs. So let's bring in Brady Novak. Yes, Brady Novak. What's up, sir? How we doing?
Good. How are you, CJ?
Yes. So let me fix your. I got a banner for you too. I have a.
Oh, thank you.
There we are.
Do you ever watch the New York police chases? They're called ghost riders. They are people that black out their cars, no license plates,
right,
and will cut, like, the more traffic, the better. Those are the streets they look for, and they're pushing cars off. They're using the police behind them to move cars over to the right so they can get. I mean, they're going 120 through Manhattan.
They're drifting. Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell between that and normal New York traffic going around there. But that is good. They do the blacked out window, so they do it on purpose, like a flash mob almost.
They do it like a flash mob, and they're so known that once the cop sees them, they immediately turn on their lights. And there's a camera going front, and there's a camera going back, and it's wild. Everyone go there, and CJ and I will wait until you get back.
Yeah, go ahead and stream that up. I could get a third window, actually. Actually, that's what they want you to. That's the only way people watch content anymore. There has to be a constant moving ball, or something going around, some kind of car chase, a video game, anything.
That's what they want you to do. 3 screens. That's what they want you to do.
Well, thank you for joining us here. You are, of course, a Kansas native. I didn't see you a part of the big stick there there's a Paul Rudd. There's Rob Riggle. There's a bunch of Kansas City. They're all the new breed of celebrities. And then there's you, community activist, Brady Novak, the actual Kansas City chief.
Not famous enough. I've called. I've emailed. They say, "Who are you?" You're not famous enough.
We already got Kumail, a Kansas City stalwart, to come out there, but. Anyway, let's get into your Chiefs, who you've been of course been riding high with Kansas City Chief football, back-to-back champions. Let's just take a quick summary of what we had here. You of course won the Super Bowl.
Kansas football, is that? It said Kansas football. That was what the banner said. Kansas football.
Right here, Kansas football. Yeah, this is just my introductory. Yeah.
Yeah. Did Joe Montana make that? They play in.
How would you sum up Kansas football? You're, of course, a Kansas athlete legend. You had a Division I scholarship at K-State. You went to Little Manhattan. And what is Kansas football when you think of?
The Kansas City football or Kansas University?
Or just Kansas. Football? Yeah, just Kansas. Just in general.
Gale Sayers.
Yes, Gale Sayers.
John Riggins.
He was a drunk.
I knew John Riggins' high school football coach, and he told me John Riggins could have played in the NFL right out of high school.
Sure, back then, because the players had to do regular jobs afterwards. The fact.
I think of Brian Schottenheimer, Marty Schottenheimer's kid, playing.
He has a gleam
in high school. I think of Marty Schottenheimer, but that's more on the Missouri side. Right.
That is in Missouri. Now, real quick for our fans at home and the degenerates, explain the difference between the Kansas City, Kansas and the Kansas City, Missouri.
Well, so Joe Montana, why that joke I said was so funny. He famously said in his retirement, some of you might remember, he was one of the original Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre types, who ended his career in a different place where he won Super Bowls. And Joe Montana, when in his retirement, they said, he goes, "I loved playing in Kansas." They play on the Missouri side.
They play in the Missouri side
of Kansas City, and it is a lot of people do not know this, but there was a civil war, and Kansas fought for the North, and Missouri fought for the South, and they have not gotten along since.
And when you go there, you can feel it. You can feel who's on whose side there. I'll tell you that much.
Yes, and there's a lot more to do in Missouri than the Kansas side, and so if you're visiting there, you're probably on the Missouri side.
That's interesting because they are battling right now for a new stadium, and that's to Kansas, Missouri side. Kansas is trying to pilfer it over there, correct?
It would be Kansas' biggest, other than Cabela's. It would be. It would be the biggest thing in the world. Even the track, even the rate. They have a NASCAR track. This would blow it out of the water.
Oh, man, that would be incredible. I mean, how's it get bigger than Cabela's? I love Cabela's, the outdoor shop. You go in there, there's a sniper looking at you in the window, a taxidermy thing. I mean, boy, it makes me want to buy some clothes.
You never want to return things without a receipt in there. They come in heavy.
So your Chiefs won back-to-back Super Bowls. Yeah, go ahead.
So Kansas needs this stadium. They want it so bad. They want it so bad.
Right.
And the people in the suburbs, they don't want the stadium downtown, so they vote against that because nobody wants to go downtown. That's why you live in the suburbs.
Right. That's what the whole thing is.
And so it would really bring everything into Kansas. So that's why they're fighting so hard to bring the stadium over there.
Interesting. And they got gambling money to still pay for it all. I like when they're saying that we'll just play on tracks to gamblers. You don't understand how much easy money this is.
Take it out of the schools. We can go right into the stadium. Yeah, it would be. And then, of course, Missouri wants to keep it in Missouri, just apparently not where it is, which it joins a parking lot with the Kauffman Stadium where the Royals play. And so,
that sounds
what do we do?
That sounds like a T-shirt. Keep it Missouri. That could mean a lot of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So all right. So after winning this back-to-back Super
Bowls, none of them good. None of those things would be good.
None of those things are good. Like, Missouri, they kept it real Missouri with that one. You
keep it in your Missouri.
So are you worried at all about your Chiefs coming in a little bit fat and sassy after being the 2-time champions? And, here's some of their off-season trainings. You have Travis Kelce over there in London on stage doing his thing with Taylor Swift, Mahomes doing all these commercials, Rashee Rice doing fun things, Harrison Butker. It's been an eventful off-season for your Chiefs.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried at all. We're going to three-peat this.
Yeah.
We're going to lose a couple games. But no, I'm not even worried about the players doing car commercials that nobody even knows who they are. I'm not. They're going to come in. Because we have biblical names. Like our players have biblical, like Isaiah Pacheco, right?
Right.
Isaiah. That's Noah Gray. These are people that show up in the Bible. They're going to show up for work. They're not going to get too big for their head, right? Creed. That's a biblical band, So they come in. Carson Steele. Look at that.
Carson Steele,
named after
friend of the program.
Named after actual Steele, a friend of the program. Do you think you don't think he's going to come prepared? He's going to come prepared. They're not going to be worrying about Taylor Swift tickets. They're going to be focused on football.
All right, good. Well, let's move on now. You mentioned three-peat, so we'll move right up here. I got to bring up Andy Reid. The greatest coach in football there. This is an old logo, by the way, Brady. I was going to put a lot of the old logos, but it got even bad for me. I was like, Jesus.
That's a little bit much. Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's keeping it Missouri right there.
Boy, is it ever.
Yeah. So if they win a three-peat, are you worried that you're going to have to pay Pat Riley residuals because he has that, of course, patented the old three-peat thing?
I am. I do worry about that the most.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot of money. Who's going to pay that? Do I have to pay that?
I mean, they're charging for the stadium. They might have to charge it for the 3P T-shirts. But here you got Reed here with all of his classic looks, holding up the cheeseburger instead of the trophy. And I like when he announces like, "Here's a cheeseburger, Andy. Don't you want to eat it?" And he's like, "Well, no, I mean, I just made a joke, but okay, And then, of course, there is with the mustache in the playoff game. That's not from the cold. That's because he had some powdered donuts beforehand, I believe. And it was just sticking in there. Going to the Chinese food menu that he has in there. But everyone loves Andy Reid.
Everybody needs a pregame meal.
Yeah, absolutely. He is 66-1 to win Coach of the Year. He would have to go undefeated to win Coach of the Year just because it's kind of expected for him to do what they do there. But
it's a little expected, but I'd bomb that. I would bomb that.
Yeah, I'll give you a bomb there. Brady bomb. Why not? Brady. And welcome to your first bomb. I like that. Yes. Interesting enough, when I was looking up these logos, you guys were a Cowboy for 2 years in the early 60s. Then you switched over to this.
The Dallas Texans. Yes, we were the Dallas Texans, and we became the Kansas City
Chiefs, but they get away with that tomahawk there and the headdress in there. But some of it was grotesque, even in the picture.
They had a horse. They used to have a horse that came out and like Florida State kind of thing after every touchdown.
Chief Fieldagola, I believe he is called, right? And he throws the
none of it was appropriate. Yes, and they always dressed them like savages, as if they were the savages. Yes, never. Yeah. But I have people might be in my family that say things like, "I just wish people, were honored by it."
I wish they were honored. Well, then I found this logo, of course,
in the wrong hands. In the wrong hands to be honored by.
The old Wolf one. I don't know where this came from, but that's where Chiefaholic, maybe your best fan or your most committed fan, I would definitely think. Would rock that thing. With the Chiefaholic, of course, who got arrested and went to jail for robbing banks in his Chiefaholic uniform. But he robbed banks in his defense to get tickets to go see Kansas City Chiefs play.
Yeah, that's worth it. That's not the end of the world, Not a terrible crime. And I guess the Wolf was when professional teams were like, we're going to have something that's not so offensive. Like you have another mascot to be the mascot, right? And so it's not a horse, it's a wolf, Casey Wolf.
Yeah, they have this like in the holster just in case they do get canceled with the Indians there.
Yeah, or this is the one that can go from the high rise, or be on ropes and swings and
right. We
compete
can't
with
have
Colorado.
We can't have an Indian rappel because there's too much insurance with that. That's that's hilarious. Now here, of course, you're two big stars: Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. Mahomes is the favorite to win MVP. Too short of a price to do that. But Kelce. Now, what do you think about Travis Kelce? A lot of people are saying he's getting old. He's getting a little drained with the Taylor Swift. Is Taylor Swift? Do you see her around town in Kansas City at all, or what?
Oh yeah, I see the two of them all the time. Mm-hmm. They couldn't be more focused on football. Him or Taylor. His house is a year old, so he's already bought his new house. He's not worrying about buying a house. Last year, he was worried about interest rates. That's already done. He's got his house. They have a place. It's in a gated community. Those two could not be more focused.
That's good. And that's a good investment. So that's solid money. That's solid business there for them.
It is. And Patrick, I feel this. He's fighting for a job against Carson Wentz. And so Patrick couldn't be more focused than he is right now.
Carson Wentz was a great addition to the Chiefs. They put like a kick me sign on him. He's there. You needed someone to make fun of in the quarterback room, keep things light, and I think Carson Wentz is perfect for that room.
Yeah, I hear he comes in and he's like, he came, he wins. So he keeps things light.
I tell you where he wasn't Wentz at, and that was the Morgan Wallen concert that your Chiefs were out there. That was a fun event. There were Mahomes, Kelce, and then Morgan Wallen out in a Harrison Butker jersey. Perfect Kansas City moment, as the way you described it.
Yes, they. There's not a lot to do in the Midwest. You got to remember that. So forgiving. You got a concert, and you know the name of the guy. I guess you got to go. And then. Yeah, Waller, the singer, was just showing his support for Harrison Butker.
Yeah, and they're independent thought, so good for them. And
yes, right. The freedom of speech is what he was using.
Right.
Doesn't Harris Butker he looks and sound like the 9th president of the United States? Doesn't he? Like he has that kind of name, like William Henry Harrison, who famously said, "Round them up, boys."
I was just going to say, he has the same point of views as the 9th president of the United States. And that is gay should not exist. But this is what I like about your Kansas City Chiefs here, Brady. Now, they actually did not have a good year offensively last year, as you know. They only scored 21 points a game after scoring 28 a game. The receivers were kind of inexperienced, so they got all new receivers. They went to the old-fashioned speed receivers. You have Hollywood Brown, who runs a 4.3 40. You have Xavier Worthy.
Real quick, doesn't Harrison Butker seem like the type of person that'd pull you aside in a party and be like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Look at those names. Those are championship. Hollywood Brown. I mean, we live in Hollywood, CJ.
Right,
that's the one to root for. Xavier Worthy. That's 2 basketball names playing football. Rashee Rice. Every time I order salmon, I get a little Rashee Rice. I get a little with it. It's pretty good. And I wash it down with some Sky Moore, which I notice is not. Yeah. His name is not popping up, but that's another name.
Not popping up as much. I didn't have his room on my camera there because I had to put Pacheco in there to spaz with the helmet coming off. He's going to have to take a play off after the helmet coming off there. But I'm excited for these weapons. As you say, they're very fast in receivers. Hollywood Brown, 4.3 40. Xavier Worthy, the fastest 40 ever at the combine. And Rashee Rice, as you see there, 100 miles an hour at a 45, 119 miles an hour as they caught him. But you know what? Apparently, thank God for the U.S. court systems, that suspension isn't until years down the road.
Those are all facts, CJ.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think I kind of like Pacheco this year. 100 to 1 to win Offensive Player of the Year is not too shabby. It might be a Brady bomb on that one.
And speaking of Rashee Rice's speed, if I was a young millionaire, I'd be a wreck.
But I mean, it was the wreck. It was a wreck for sure. And but it's okay if you're a wreck, but you have to stay at the wreck. That's the only problem. You can't leave the wreck, and you can't lie about the wreck. You just gotta.
I'm excited for this winning combination. Sorry to interrupt you, but I am excited. I am excited for this winning combination.
Absolutely.
I think we're going to be fine. Hollywood Brown entering his 3rd year, so he's figured out, as Marty Schottenheimer would say, the scheme, men.
It's all about the scheme.
It's all
Find
about
the
the
scheme.
I'm worried about that defensive line, but I'm excited about that defensive line. Our quarterbacks, we lose Snead, right? We lose a great cornerback, and so I'm worried about that. But I think the scheme will prevail.
Right. Well, they did re-sign Chris Jones though for that defensive line, so that's a good situation there.
And I'm excited for that Felix Dijk Uzma.
Yes,
he had 3 tackles against Jacksonville. He looked good.
They honestly don't have too many weaknesses. They have Spagnuolo, of course, probably the best defensive coordinator. They only gave up 15 points a game during the playoffs last year. They lost to Jarius Sneed, as you said, but they have Trent McDuffie, who's an All-Pro to fix. I mean, who are we kidding? They've won 8 straight AFC West titles. They're going to win another one. Let's just move on to the schedule here. So let's look at the odds here for your schedule. Now, they went 11-6 last year, which is the lowest I think Mahomes has ever gone. Mahomes, I couldn't believe this was real. Mahomes, he's been the starter since 2018. He's gone 12-4, 12-4, 14-2, 12-5, 14-3, and last year 11-6 was their worst offensive year. So, and the total's at 11.5. I don't see how they don't go over. This is ridiculous, right? This is crazy.
Well, I mean, those are some great teams that got to play, but yeah, I'm gonna. Oh boy, they really know what they're doing. That's a pretty good number.
Yeah,
I can kind of see them. I could kind of see them, not, just making the playoffs and having to go through the tough playoff Super Bowl again. I mean, that's a really tough regular season schedule. It's unfair.
Tell you what, really. Yeah, a little unfair, you think, for the Super Bowl champions to get this kind of schedule?
100%.
I agree.
Oh, we're making schedules going back 2 years now. We're punishing them for 2 years.
You're getting the Caitlin Clark treatment. We want to see them on TV all the time. They're making play these bullies, Oh,
it's so tough.
But what a tough opening 2 games though. You have the Ravens Thursday night at home at Camaro Head, as you call. I must say you I don't know if you coined it, but you definitely introduced it to my world, the phrase Camaro Head for the stadium of Kansas City.
Yes, they all drive Camaros to the game.
As you see my odds here, you have they're heavy favorites to win the division, very favorites to win the AFC and Super Bowl, and even money to become the most insufferable new fan base if they win the 3rd Super Bowl in a row.
Oh, I mean,
and there it is.
That already. I was going to buy cigars. My doctor's like, you can't smoke cigars. I'm like, but 3-peat.
So what do you think about the Thursday night Ravens game and then followed right up with Joe Burrow right after that? That's a great back-to-back
2 losses.
game.
Get them out of the gate. 2 losses.
Maybe you need it to light a fire, right?
I don't know, because you got Joe coming back. A lot of people don't know this. Joe Burrow, the quarterback for the Bengals, was out all last season. A lot of people don't even know that.
Not sure of that, no.
And he's going to come in there. But now the Kansas City has something to play because, the Bengals do beat them at home sometimes. But the Ravens are going to I think those are 2 losses at home, but that's okay. Not a big deal because we don't lose again until 49ers.
Well, there you go. Then you got the 49ers. You're going to be beat up with the Harbaugh, Falcons, Saints, all these things. Then you have the Niners. And then you're right. Then they run. Then they run the show there. It's a tough start, but then it kind of evens out there. But like I said, the
Bills, and then the Panthers. Who I have the Panthers in Kansas City going to the Super Bowl. 100 to win 19,000. Kansas City winning that Super Bowl game. But so that's going to be a tough one against the Panthers there after the Bills coming right off the Bills loss.
Yeah, you don't want to see those Panthers right after the Buffalo game. That's for sure.
And then those are 4 losses, and they don't win after. I don't know how that Panthers game go, but then they don't lose again, so they're going to have 4 losses.
Okay, well there you go. Well, now there's 17 games, so that makes them. Right, whatever that is, 13-4. Yeah, I guess that's what that math goes.
Yeah, so I have them winning over 11.5, but that Texans ones will be tough too because they'll be playing for something.
Yeah, 13-4. That's very easy. They're going to win a division, and then they're going to go to the Super Bowl and play Carolina. I like that one to win 19,000. That's incredible. All right, well let me take this thing off here. Now, thank you very much, Brady Novak.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us to talk a little Kansas City Chiefs football. I would say good luck, but I don't think you need it. You literally, they don't have, I really don't see a weakness, except even their O-line is good. They have 1 rookie tackle. Great. So what? That's like the only thing. The stadium is the only thing you have to worry about.
I think the stadium and maybe the cornerbacks. We got to keep our eye on those cornerbacks. So that's
a little bit of a secondary. Now, Brady, I put some of your credits down there. You're a lefty specialist, of course. Community activist. I love that title.
Yep, absolutely. I take both of those. Thank you.
You are back new on this is your new account, Brady Novak Comedy. Make sure you follow him on Instagram. You have several accounts when I typed you up.
I know. I can't even delete some of them. I don't know how. I don't know.
It's hilarious because you have some accounts that were in COVID. You know, it's like going through different Bradys. You know, like up and down the line. Like, oh, here he is when he got out of that hole. There's his episode. Oh, I didn't think that Brady was going to make it for a while. You know,
I always want to take my name away in case the new Brady Novak does something, but they never really do anything past high school.
Yeah, it's like some kind of like 90s horror film. Like these, I think, oh,
like I'm gonna have to send. I'm going to send HR Instagram an email and be like, "This is a duplicate. I just don't know how to get into it. It's been hacked or whatever."
I love when just claim you've been hacked. Someone's trying to take my followers. They had the same sense of humor as me, yes, but it's in the March and Dark. They look a lot worse, so don't ignore those.
I never said that about the Middle East. That wouldn't be me.
Well, Brady Novak, thank you. Is there anything else you want to tell the degenerates out there about yourself, where they can follow you, or anything you got going on?
No, that's all I want to tell you is what's in the ticker, and I love you all, and let's bomb it.
Yes, and good luck to the Brandies this weekend. You have the #1 pick in our fantasy football league.
I do, and a snake, so it's almost a disadvantage.
Love it. Everyone's loving your over 11.5. By the way, they're all they're fingering in there for you. 13 wins. I love it.
And I'm picking CD Lamb #1 if anyone wants to know, because Christian McCaffrey's gone in our league. But CD Lamb, I'm going to trust
CD Lamb. I like it. Hopefully he will play this year. But even if Jerry Jones doesn't support him, it's good to know that you support him, Brandy. And that's all that matters.
That is really all that matters. Thank you.
All right, Brady. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
There it is, Brady Novak. That was fantastic. Kansas City native Camaro head. One of the best things that have ever come to me. Anyway, all right, let me take a quick break, and when we get back, I will talk a little bit of the rest of the AFC West and to some of your comments. But first, I need to tell you about Rhythm. Let me get into Rhythm. Hold on. I will get into Rhythm as soon as let me do that, and do that. I'm really slow on the box. Hold on. There it is. There's the graphic. Now I can talk to you about Rhythm because football season's here. College football and NFL models are live on Rhythm. Create your own winning bet model or let Rhythm do the heavy lifting for you. You decide what stats matter to you, and Rhythm builds a custom model around that, or just tell Rhythm its predictive model they do the heavy lifting. Rhythm uses AI projections from MIT data scientists. It already has you covered in NFL Week 1, college football Week 0. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamingpodcast.com/RATHMM. Also, Circus Survivor is back. It's giving back. Circus Sports is back giving with Circus Survivor and Circa Millions, giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. Imagine if you played a Survivor pool at your office pool and then you won that and you didn't win and you didn't enter the Circa one. You'd be like, what the? Oh, this is great. I beat Janet from HR. What did I win? A gift certificate to Chili's? This is fun. What the other people win? $10 million? Yeah, I wish I got that. So get yourself a trip booked to Vegas. If you don't have one yet, come on out. Ultimate Contest Weekend's a perfect time to go. Hang out with Ryan and Sean and me on some of the open bar events at the greatest sports book in the world, August 22nd through August 24th. Use promo code SGP15 to save 50% off your hotel room for sign-up weekend. Sign up in person at Circus Sports between now and September 7th. Use a proxy to play from anywhere. We sign up people in person at Circus Sports between now and September 7th. Use a proxy to play from anywhere. We even have a deal with proxy. So go to proxyfootballcontest.com. Save $50 with promo code SGP. And we're back here on the Bottom Line Bombs. I am your host, CJ Sullivan, the bet detective, the laddie daddy, the deli llama, giving out good preseason numbers in the Man in the Box. Robert Martin checking in from Canada. What's up, buddy? He says, lock it in, over an 11.5. Thanks, Mr. Novak and Mr. Sullivan. You're goddamn right, Bob. Lock that in. I love that Chiefs over 11.5. I just don't see how they don't win 12 games. They are much better than they were last year. The only thing would just be a letdown because of that schedule. It's tough up front, but then it lays off. So, all right. Let's get into it. Now we have to talk LA Chargers. Like I said, I'm not even going to have enough time to talk the Raiders because I already talked about that LA police chase and the preseason game. Like I said, I'm on New England tonight. -2.5. It sits at 3 now. I'll even say -3. Eagles do not care. Matthew Judon traded, but they wanted him traded. Unlike Hassan Reddick, Patriots like, please get out there, do something with yourself. Go to Atlanta. They're doing great things down here. You trust me. You don't want to be up here. Take your sleeves. You can even keep your red sleeves down in Atlanta. So he'll look great down there. All right, so let's go. So the AFC West is, like we said, it's a Kansas City Invitational. Kansas City's -270. The Chargers are the second favorite at +350. And then it's Vegas Raiders 10-1, Broncos 16-1. So it's and their Chargers should be even worse. Their total is 8.5 wins. Juice to the over still, which is kind of crazy. They've had some bad news lately. Mainly Justin Herbert. Of course, they have Jim Harbaugh coming in, which is great. It's great for LA. It's great for the Chargers. They need a coach that wasn't all the nonsense. They lost a lot of close games. Harbaugh should clean that up. But they also might be bad. That preseason game did not look great. I'll say that. But they brought over Greg Roman, the Baltimore offensive coordinator who runs the ball nonstop. They brought over the Baltimore running backs, Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, who apparently looks great in camp. Stop me if you've heard that before. I'll fall for it this weekend fantasy draft. I'll take J.K. Dobbins. Who am I kidding? Hell, he's 151 to win Offensive Player of the Year. Why not? Why not 150 to 1 Offensive Player of the Year, J.K. Dobbins? He has the potential of being a great running back. Yes, he's never done it before. But I'm still kicking myself for not taking Chris Sale to win that Cy Young. So I'm like, he'll get hurt. Why wouldn't I take it? It was like 80 to 1. Anyway, and he's going to win the Cy Young. So Harbaugh brings his khaki assholeness to LA. Like I said before, when Dan Hurley was thinking about coaching the Lakers, we couldn't have that. We couldn't have two white khaki assholes out here at the same time. Harbaugh's funny. He's going to be great. I can't wait for his press conference. He always says the most ridiculous things. How about he came out and said he wanted to make Colin Kaepernick a coach? Who leaked that story? Jim Harbaugh? Hey, what a great guy I am. I wanted Kaepernick to be a coach. How about you make him be the quarterback? How about that? No, we don't want to do that. Isn't your quarterback hurt? Couldn't you use it? You just signed Luis Perez from the fucking XFL. You can't have a guy you like, apparently, because you coached him in San Francisco? Right, yeah, no. Well, no, we thought he'd be able to coach and, have some of our teammates talk to him and relate to him, if you know what I mean. That's how khaki ass. Right, that's right. Khaki ass, Robert Martin says. Oh, man. But I do like this Charger team. You have Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. Mack had 17 sacks, and I think Harbaugh will fire him up. I think his defense is going to be a lot better than they were. Unlike the team that gave up 63 points to the Raiders. Justin Herbert is interesting. He's 40 to 1 to win MVP. Now his receivers are gone with Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, but I was never a big Mike Williams guy, to be honest with you. There's always hurt. Keenan Allen's great. He's also getting old. They have Lade McConkey. They drafted him out of Georgia. He's a Harbaugh guy. They have Jordan Palmer. Or Josh Palmer, one of the Palmers. Quentin Williams, who's apparently a bust already. Maybe be early on him. But Herbert got plantar fasciitis, so he's in a walking boot. And as you'll hear in my Denver Broncos segment coming up, we talk a little bit about the Chargers. Plantar fasciitis is a dream for every middle-aged white guy in sports talk radio to call up. Oh, yeah, I know what that's like. Yeah, me and John, if it's anything like mine, Herbert's going to be out a while. Yeah, but he's nothing like you, Al. He didn't get it from eating red meat and drinking wine and whiskey. He got it from being an athlete. He's a professional athlete. Yeah, that plantar fasciitis will flare up on you. It is a pain. I have one too because I'm one of those middle-aged white guys. It's horrible. But I will say this: when it goes away, it goes away. But you have to be off your foot. You can't keep walking on it, or then it'll linger. But if you get rid of it, it's gone. It'll come back eventually, but out of nowhere. So I think he'll play week 1. I think he'll be fine. I think we're really undervaluing Justin Herbert. I like Justin Herbert at 40-1. I don't like him as a top 5 quarterback, but he's maybe the most talented quarterback in the NFL with his arm and everything, and he can run. Give me Justin Herbert 40-1. Well, I don't know if I'd bet an MVP vote on him, but 41 is a juicy number. Like I said, I do like Dobbins, Gus, Mac. Harbaugh is the favorite for Coach of the Year, just because the narrative's there. I would not take him for Coach of the Year. I will go through that anyway. But as far as 8.5 total, people are like, "Oh, what a terrible roster they had. They were on 3 games last year, but the year before, they were up 27-0 versus Jacksonville in the playoff game. It was the coach, and then they just flat out quit." Easton Stick. I will say this. I'll give out. I don't have that. I'll give out. Oh boy. It's just too early. It's just too early to give Chargers 9 wins, and I'll take the under 8.5. But I do think they'll be competitive, just in Harbaugh's nature. I will say that, and their defense will be good. I think there's going to be a lot of running and slowing the game down, so they're not going to have enough statistics to win these awards for MVP. Although Dobbins and Gus Edwards, there's your bomb. Gus Edwards to lead the NFL in touchdowns is 40-1. I mean, he's going to get every single goal line carry in this Greg Roman system. So if you want a future, Gus Edwards 40-1, bomb it. And I gave 2 preseason. I gave Patriots tonight in preseason -2.5, -3. Also, the Rams Chargers play this weekend in preseason. I'm going to give out the Chargers. It's a pick 'em. Sean McVay, somehow they won that game versus Dallas with Stetson Bennett throwing 4 interceptions and then the game-winning touchdown. McVay famously doesn't care about the preseason. Harbaugh just lost. There's no way he's allowing a bad effort again, no matter who he throws out there. And they just signed Luis Perez, like I said, XFL quarterback, i.e. Adrian Martinez with the Jets from the UFL. He comes in championship ready. He just played a season in the spring. I'm wearing my spring football guy shirt. Trust me, Luis Perez can sling it. And he's coming in game shape. He will play this week. Give me the Chargers to beat the Rams this weekend in preseason. Bomb it. All right, now I'm going to get into our Denver Broncos segment. C-Generates, thank you for joining us live. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you're watching on YouTube and subscribe to the Bottom Line Bombs. Follow me, of course, on Instagram at CJ Sullivan was taken, underscores in between all those words, or on X at CJ Sullivan _. You can follow all my videos and my Man in a Box videos. Last Monday's Hard Knocks recap with Liev Schreiber was a big hit on the video and big segment. I'm glad to announce he will be back next Monday as well to recap last night's episode of episode 2 of the new season, the Chicago Bears training camp. So that will be, hopefully it'll be a weekly segment, but I got him locked in. It'll be pushed back a little bit. I'm going to push the show back a little bit to make arrangements for him. Probably going to do it around 3:00 Pacific. Comedian Wade Randolph, or writer Wade Randolph. Actually, and my next guest, who's in here for Denver Broncos, Eric Acosta, actually helped write the Liev Schreiber stuff with Wade Randolph. So I have to give him a shout out for that. Writer's credit, because Eric Acosta is a great comedic writer. He wrote for Rick and Morty, wrote for a bunch of stuff. I can't even go down the line, but he's a huge Denver Bronco fan, great insider. He's also in my Fantasy Football League. So without further ado, here comes the interview with Denver Broncos insider Eric Acosta. Here to talk about the Denver Broncos is C-Generate and my Denver insider, Eric Acosta. Eric, welcome to the Bottom Line Bombs.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining the show. I see from the chat room to the segment show. I love it. You sometimes you pop in the chat there in the bottom line.
That's true. Yeah.
Along with the C-generates. It's always hard to keep up. You're a comedy writer, of course. You're a lot of things here. Of course, you're blood fart in our CCFL. We've been having a few owners in there, and recently we had Jim Miller do our draft order via Cameo, and he was not happy with your team name.
No, I feel like the more he said it, the more it bothered him. Like he read it off the paper the first time and just like and then he said it a few and it just started bothering him.
Yes, it did. I will say that there's a few other profane names. Like, okay, all right, you got a potty mouth, but with yours, it started growing, and you could tell. Oh, he was a changed man. Thank God you were at the top of the order, or the rest of it really would have been phoned in.
It's true because by the time he was done giving me whatever bit he was doing, he seemed bothered.
Yeah, he threw his phone down. Got erased. So you're a longtime Bronco fan, even though I know you're from Chicago. You're also a White Sox fan. All right, condolences to that.
Yeah, that team died, but that's going on. This is the year for Denver, clearly.
Yeah, I know, right? That's just going to be back to back because Denver, of course, they have the tied with Carolina as the worst odds to win the Super Bowl. Pretty amazing there. But the picture behind me there, you are in a John Elway fantasy league. Our man Willie Roberts, I see. I snuck him in the photo. Yeah. What's this? An all Denver Bronco fantasy football league you're in?
Yes, there was an LA-based fantasy football league,
right.
And every single time, every year when we draft, immediately following the draft, we would all wear a different Bronco jersey supplied by Willie Roberts there at the Peyton Manning. He's got untold amounts of jerseys, so he would bring bags of them. We'd all put one of them on, and then we'd take a giant picture of everybody in a Bronco jersey.
Right, because I saw some of the pictures. I would recognize some of the people, not all Bronco fans, and they would put on their own hat, like just to,
right.
Right.
We want people know. Hey,
right. No,
I don't like this. I don't like it.
I don't enjoy this, but here's a Niner hat, but I'm also wearing a Terrell Davis jersey. That is hilarious.
I think that's the best place to start right now. I mean, nobody's talking about you get a lot of the whole, Bo Nix looks good or whatever, but what's really the story is the treatment of Terrell Davis, right? I mean, that flight attendant, I don't think that flight attendant understands what she's done. She's lit the fire. That's what this season is going to be. You know, it's a
revenge joke. They're doing it for 3D, and his non-first class treatment when he grabbed a flight attendant and said, "Hey, bring me my drink.
My kid wants water." You know,
yeah. It was a lot of tears were shed. He went on Good Morning America. Very tragic story for Terrell Davis. Hopefully, they can respect his Hall of Fame.
But that's the kind of thing that brings a team together. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get here. Here they are last year. They had a decent. They started out 1-5, and then they wound up 8-9 for some reason. They went on a
5-game winning streak. So subtract that from the season, and there you are. You get
right. Now they went 8-9, and of course they let Russ cook one last time there. And this is what happened. These are some of the funny memes that you see online there: the cereal and the slice of cheese and the. And then, of course, the kitchen fire. Of course, Russ. Yeah. He said, "Just let me cook," and then they allowed it, and then that's what happened.
I think the kitchen, the fire one. I think that's an actual picture from the Broncos Patriots game.
Right into Sean Payton here, who comes. He came in with optimism, trashing Nathaniel Hackett, who's laughing down there, like, "Yeah, he was the worst coach of all time. Could be Russ's fault." And then 2 games into it, that he turned into Kevin James. He's like, "Oh, it was Russ's fault." Sean Payton gets $18 million a year. That's okay. That's something. That's they're going to be doing.
Something. That is something.
Right. So congratulations on that. He's 33-1 to win Coach of the Year. Now, he was a good coach. He was known as a good coach. Now, is there a possibility that he might not be a good coach without Drew Brees? Is that kind of a situation with him?
I mean, is any coach a good coach without their Hall of Fame quarterback? You know, it's like we keep forgetting that whole thing.
I know.
I guess we haven't forgotten it. I guess with Belichick, nobody's interested in the greatest head coach of all time in the history of the sport. Nobody wants Bill Belichick.
Right, that's true. But it's funny because he's known for saying, like, you know, the cocky things. Like when he threw Hackett under the bus, he's like, that's just my announcer hat on. Which, by the way, you never said things like that when you were an announcer, Peyton. You were trying to you were trying to get rehired. But then he did the thing, like, we'll get on to this Bo Nix. You get on, like, I fooled the Vikings into thinking that, like, you sure did. You got the last quarterback possible.
Like I was saying, like they're gonna have us believe that had they had the number 1 pick, it was Bo Nix over Caleb Williams. That's how their scouting went. That's how.
Right. They didn't want Caleb Williams, as you said, kind of like draft day situation. No one went to his birthday. That kind of situation. They want someone to give their teammates like.
I like the idea of people like Ryan Poles and GMs around the league just frantically calling Sean Payton, like, "What do you know? What do you know?
Did you hear about his birthday? Who showed up? What got on?" As we said the other day, Caleb Williams' teammates might not have went to his birthday because they weren't invited. Caleb Williams hangs out with celebrities.
Right. There were, like I said, like there was like Jay-Z was there. There's not. I've got a whole lot of room for the for my freshman wide receivers here on my team. Sorry.
Right. So Bo Nix, although he did look good in that preseason game, it's kind of just understood that he's just not going to be good. Like I think it's almost a thing like we've decided. Like, well, then when they talk about the rookie quarterbacks, there's Caleb and Jalen Daniels, and then like maybe Drake May. Like, then Bo Nix, yeah, right. Bo Nix is one of them too, right? He was in.
Yeah, he's one of them.
Yeah,
he's one of them.
In that class.
Here's a fact. Bo Nix played, I want to say, like 60 college football games. Right.
Right.
That's a good fact. 60 college. And so I don't know that any other drafted quarterback played that many games. So people got to see Bo Nix more than any other quarterback, and he was still 6.
Yeah.
So
he did get out. Yeah, he went to Auburn and Oregon, and like you said, he did look good. So he's got 16-1 win rookie of the year because he will. I mean, he obviously will be starting. At least he's got that going for him. Unlike Drake May and Michael Penix, because you got Stidham in there who played last year, and then apparently I found out Zach Wilson. I guess was he driving to LA and just stopped through Denver, and they let him crash for a month here. He's in the quarterback room officially.
He's there. He is in the room.
Okay.
I guess it's about the intangibles. Like holding a clipboard. He's excellent at it. He's excellent at holding a clipboard.
Yeah.
He likes watching good quarterbacks. So that's a thing. I mean, if you listen. It's the whole thing is like it's a quarterback controversy. It's Bo or it's gonna be Bo or Stidham or Parsons. No one even says the name, Zach. No one even says it.
They have to be reminded. Coach, are you forgetting somebody? I don't know. It's on the tip of my tongue.
I don't think so.
As far as Bo Nix, he did look good, so I hope he does well. But I tried to look up an MVP number for him, and Vegas just said no. You don't even want to do that.
They're stopping you,
right?
Like, okay,
listen, we enjoy money, but we don't want to. I mean, this will be sad for you. See, they have some receivers. We like Cortland Sutton, 151 offensive player year. That's stretching it, but Tony, how about this Tony Franklin rookie receiver? Was he from Mizzou?
Yes, and I hear the word drop a lot.
Okay, that's always great.
That's always a good word when you want to hear, but I mean, whatever. I don't. That's they were 8-9 last year with Russell Wilson,
right?
And I don't know that they're that good anymore.
Yeah, I know it is bad. They got rid of Jerry Jeudy, and then Mims will step up, I guess, and Mims will step up in that Jeudy role of not producing deep threat.
What I'm mad about is the NFL changing from 16 games to 17 games because if you look at everything, the Broncos are like their identity is a 500 team. That's who they are. They are a 500 team, and the NFL has taken that possibility away from them.
Maybe they can shoot to go 7-7-3 if they can do that or something.
Oh,
like
that's
that,
nice. Yeah,
our friend Henry Scott used to try to get the Browns to go 6-6-6 or so. It was like, or 5-5-6. It was a good solid thing. My favorite free agent signing, maybe in the league, was the Josh Reynolds. What a nondescript. Like, he plays receiver. I know how to play the position. I don't do any of it good, but I know where to line up. I know to run a thing, and I know what number to wear.
It's like a guy. It's like the team was built by. Like mediocre fantasy football players. It's like, oh, Josh Reynolds. Yeah. He won me like a game or two there.
I remember him. Sure.
Yeah.
It's a name. Is Lee Evans still available? That's a name I knew too.
I'm hoping that's the case, and I hope that it's not that Peyton and the Broncos were like got him confused with Josh Palmer.
Right. Yeah. Could have. Is it a different one? How many Joshes can there be in the football? It's got to be him. Sign him sight unseen over the phone. Let's do it.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I was going to say names.
I like McLaughlin. I don't understand. He doesn't get a lot of talk. People keep going right to Samaje Perine. I don't get that. I think McLaughlin is better.
Yeah, I do too. Samaje Perine. I mean, that's just that sounds French for Monty Ball. If you ask me, I don't really, I don't.
He did have a world class bobble drop into an interception though in that Colts preseason game.
Yeah, it almost like collusion to get Bo Nix to be the starter. Like any sit-em ball, just throw it. Let's get into the schedule here at the Broncos. Now, we didn't mention the defense or the rush. The defense actually was good last year. After they gave up 70 points to Miami, they actually, I mean, they cut
that. Yeah, everything right. in that five winning streak with that game, everything looked good.
Everything looked good. 1 month from November to December, they had 16 points a game. They beat the Chiefs for some reason. They always have one of those games.
They beat the Bills, the Packers. Right. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. I don't know, but I know that this year they're going for defensive sacks by committee. They're going to rotate people in and out of that. They got nobody who's a legitimate starter. They're just going to rotate bodies. Hopefully, they can get sacked. But you still got Patrick Surtain is still back there.
Yeah, you got Patrick Surtain.
But you lost Justin Simmons, and that's pretty big.
That's a big loss. They have Zach Allen and Malcolm Roach. I got a few guys again in there. Vance Joseph still
Nick Benito. Yeah,
yes. Nick Benito. And they hired Jim Leonard as I like when they make up jobs. Defensive pass game coordinator. It's okay. Sure, you can come on in. We'll get you a job. It's like a mob job. Like, just come down to the office. We'll give you a title and we'll get you a steady paycheck going.
Yeah, we're gonna work on our rush D today, so you don't even have to come in. We'll call you when we think a team is going to pass on us.
They opened up at Seattle. I'm sorry. That's a loss.
The second time in 3 years they're doing that. If you remember, famously Russell Wilson opened against the Seahawks.
Right.
On that, when they had that 2-minute drive, and Peyton during the Peyton cast, the Manning cast, Peyton was really frustrated with call a timeout. Go ahead and call that timeout.
I remember that.
Right. Timeout. Let's call that timeout.
He's going to call the timeout, right? I mean, he knows what's going to happen here. All right, now go kick. I guess I don't know. That was a big. Yeah, that was the beginning of the end for okay, things might be bad here.
Yeah. So we're going to rematch that game with week 1, and I don't see a way in which the Broncos beat the Seahawks.
No, that's not going to happen. But the NFL script writers in full effect. Week 2, they have Pittsburgh coming to Denver. Russell Wilson cooking. But what are the odds of that? It's unbelievable. What kind of reaction you think Russ is going to get there? I'm sure it'll be a nice warm welcome from Barrel Guy and everybody, right?
It'll be very, very nice welcome. Hope we're all ready to ride. So
they want to ride the Bronco Nation, as Russ would put it. Yeah,
let's ride. Although how upset would the NFL be if already in week 1 Tomlin is like, nah, Fields is my guy.
Just for this game. You know what? He doesn't like the elevation there. Apparently, we looked at his record, not good there. I didn't realize did he play there or something? It's really
bad. Missed it, but he's had a lot of games in Denver.
Yeah, were they in Seattle's division? How did he play so many games there? I don't understand that. And then the only other game that matters on the schedule, TV writers put that in there. Sean Payton's return to New Orleans.
Yeah. That's winnable. I mean, you got Derek Carr there, so that game's winnable. That's a winnable game.
That's the only way you can search more quarterback disasters that you can win against this.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, the division is not. You're not going to beat I know they beat the Chiefs once last year. It's probably not going to happen again this year.
Right.
Despite the fact that the Raiders are awful, the Broncos somehow are in some weird slump with the Raiders. And then the Chargers, I don't even know what the Chargers are now.
I know it does. And of course, you got Harbaugh, then Herbert with plantar fasciitis. Plantar fasciitis has been fun from the sports talk world because every middle-aged white guy has plantar fasciitis. So they call up and say, "Oh, I know what that's. Trust me, that hurts. I know exactly what that injury is." Yeah. Okay.
I think it's the most popular cause of that is carrying around privilege and money.
Right, rich man's division. So that's it. The way you put it, the division is kind of wide open on side of Kansas City. I think they could sneak 6 or 7 wins there.
Well, 8 and 9 was good enough for second in the division last year.
Right. With the rush and their defense, I think they can do something. But yeah, Bo Nix, we'll see.
I mean, that's the key, right? It's like if all of a sudden if Bo Nix is competent, then I suppose that I mean, no, I don't care how competent he is. You're not the Chiefs, so we're talking about second place in a horrible division is what you're talking about. But I mean, what would you if you're the Broncos and this thing just absolutely craters and you're left with the number 1 pick? What are you doing with the number 1 pick?
Yeah, that's why you got to get Bo Nix in there immediately to get this out of the way. Just
right,
like you saw what happened, right? Now we can move on. Okay, we can move on. This has been
you can't. Yeah, no mystery. There's not like but maybe no.
No, he got his shot there. Well, Eric Acosta, thank you for joining us, talking Denver Broncos. Quick shout out here, and also the Elway Fantasy League. I forgot to mention Wade Randolph is also a Denver Bronco, and you and him both recently collaborated for the Liev Schreiber sketch that's going on here with
that's
that.
Right. Yes, I hope you enjoyed that as much as we do listening to Liev Schreiber.
And you're the mastermind behind Megamind Rules. Explain that a second.
Well, Megamind was a surprise hit feature film in 2010, 2011 or so.
Yeah, people loved it.
And so, people like to strike when the iron is hot, especially DreamWorks. And so they were like, hey, let's make another one, 12 years later or whatever the hell it was. And so I was part of making that series, and the Megamind fan base really, really likes it. They like it a lot.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And usually they don't make their opinion known online, right? Those kind
Not
of
really. I mean, it's just one of those things. Usually, as you see, when an old property is sort of brought back and made anew, it usually is gangbusters.
Yeah, open mind usually, right? They're like, they can't wait to see what they do with it.
You don't hear things like "you ruined my childhood" or you destroyed a great franchise. Those things you don't ever hear those things, and so that's the case here as well. Yeah.
Right. So no, you don't have to question how you sleep at night as you try to support your family. Well, fantastic. Let's go, Bo Nix, and thanks for joining us, Eric.
Thank you.
Okay, there we are. That is the show for today, the AFC West preview bomb edition. Hope you enjoyed those 2 segments there. Thanks again to Brady Novak and Eric Acosta giving us Bronco and Chiefs insider. The more I talked about it, that division is open now. The Chargers are leaking oil a little bit for second place, of course, not at first. But Denver, if Bo Nix is something, who knows? They do have a good defense, and they do run the ball well. And maybe Sean Payton is good. Who knows? Anyway, thank you for joining again. Thank you for everyone in the comment room and in the chat. Always keeping us up. What did I say there? Did I say a word? I don't know if I did. But that's going to do it for today's show. Time runs on. What am I saying? I don't know how to stop saying odd things. That's why it's just me in the box. Make sure you give us 5 stars. Write a bad review. I don't care. Give it 5 stars. Tell 50,000 of your friends. Subscribe to all of everything else on SGPN, the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, the College Experience, which I've been doing team previews with Pix Dundee himself. I'm doing Texas State in Troy after this. We're in the Sun Belt. A lot of action in the Sun Belt. Subscribe to my other podcast, the Blackout Diaries. I do a Sean Flannery. It's a drinking storytelling show. Not on the SGPN, but I thought I'd give it a plug anyway, since I'm here and I'm rambling in the mouth. Rambling in the mouth. God, am I making up things that don't sound well? Anyway. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you for joining us. Thanks again to the guests. Next Monday will be the next show. And I'm going to Cannon Beach this weekend for that fantasy draft, so I'll have a lot of fun stories coming back from Cannon Beach, Oregon. Hour outside of Portland, where they shot Goonies. Bunch of old comics and degenerates you'll see there. A lot of people that you've seen during these segments. And then, come back Monday. I think we're doing NFC West. I'm not really sure how we're doing it. Of course, the Raiders will be next week. I couldn't get all that Raider talk in there. But just for that, Let me get in there. Oh, thank you very much, Robert Martin. You are great as always in the chat. Give you up on the Canadian. He says 13-4 coming in from Canada. Anyway, that's going to do it. I am now rambling forever. It's time to hit the song. Let's go. See ya. Have a good weekend.